Hi everybody, hi welcome spirit, welcome back to the channel once again. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here on Ezosu Gaming, ready for another Magic the Gathering pack opening, and today we are back to our classical Innistrad Midnight Hunt set booster. On the last episode we opened a really cool packs of Charisma and Vow, the set after Innistrad, so it's the most actual, most current set, but still I still want some cards in specific from here. And I think we haven't seen everything from Minestrad Midnight Hunt, and I want to know more about it, and I want to get some cards in specific. Let's see if we can it. First things first, I want to shout you out. Thank you very much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Then I want to shout out the Soul Group and everybody that is changing the world by being him or herself. And I want to remind you that you can join our Discord on Ezosu Gaming as well by following the link in the description below, so you can chat and play with me and the other members, alright? So, before we start, thank you very much once again, and I want to wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality and creativity so you can maintain your sanity, alright? So, let's get started, alright? Minestrad, I'm always mixing up those words. Innistrad, Midnight Hunt, werewolves and vampires, lower animalistic natures, and people, normal thoughts, living around lower thoughts, doing the best they can to defend themselves, and something is going on with the balance of day and night. With the higher and lower desires, the lower desires are getting ahead of the higher desires. The external desires are losing power and the internal desires are gaining power. So, as you already know, if you are used to watch these episodes, we have the beautiful card with some art here. I like that one. It's really cool. It is Light Up the Night. Wait. Awesome. Then we have a mountain. I love these mountains. Let me put here so it does not catch too much light. Still some light. Okay. I really like that path. Then we have Snarling Wolf. It's a 1 green wolf, and you can pay 1 generic and 1 green, and Snarling Wolves gets +2/+2 until end of the turn. Activate only each 1 turn. Oh, thank the angels! It's not a werewolf, it's just a regular wolf. Bruno, Untitled Guide, last words. It was not a werewolf, it's just a wolf. Still not good for you. Then we got Blessed Defiance. Okay, 1 white for an instant. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains lifelink until the end of the turn. When that creature dies, this turn, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If I'm going, I'm taking you with me. And she's using a symbol, a specific frequency and vibration that creates a pattern. It looks like wings, shows she's entering on a higher spirit, or she's communicating with higher spirits. Flare of Faith. 1 generic, 1 white, an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. If it is a human, instead it gets +3/+3 and gains indestructible until the end of the turn. So basically, this is the faith that a human, a higher spirit, a spirit that possesses and develops higher thoughts and higher emotions and feelings, they are surrounded by lower emotions, by fear, by lower desires, and destructive desires, demonic, repetitive, getting stuck in desires, but they have faith in a more clear, a lighter, as in way for themselves, right? So if it is a human, if it is a higher spirit, it gains more power because they can see even further. I fell to my knees. I called out to Sigarda, and then I saw my tormentors blaze with blessed sunlight. Also, Sigarda is like the protector angel. is the highest thought in Innistrad, is the highest representation around those parts, and it can banish lower. So there is a way to think, there is a higher way to see the world that helps humans get rid of werewolves and shit like that. Moon Silver Key. I've heard it. I've heard this in some cards that they need to put the Moon Silver Key into the soul within the solar gold keyhole. But it's actually the other way around. The gold and the sun are masculine, so they should go in the Moon Silver Key. But that's fine. So it's a 2 generic artifact. You can pay 1 and tap it. Sacrifice Moon Silver Key. Search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. To restore the day and night balance, the Celestus mechanism Sun Gold Lock must be reunited with its long lost key. See, the Sun Gold Lock should be the space where the key goes in. So it should be Moon Silver Lock and the Sun Gold Key. But they switched that around. But that's about the feminine and masculine coming together to create balance. Okay? Obsessive Astronomer. Don't get lost into astrology as well. Astrology, that in that case is astronomy. It's easier to get lost in astronomy because you're just following the planets. You're not understanding why or what influence they have on your own life. But astrology is to help us get out of our lower desires. But many people, they transform astrology into a lower desire. Because it's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing. So, 1 generic and 1 red for a human wizard. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day as Obsessive Astronomer enters the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Sleep? I can sleep while I'm dead. That's true. Death Bonnet Sprout? I already have that. It can transform into a Hulk something. It's a fungus. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Then take a card from the top of your deck into the graveyard. Then, if there are 3 or more creatures cards in your graveyard, transform Death Bonnet Sprout into Death Bonnet Hulk. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile a card from your graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, put a +1/+1 counter or Death Bonnet Hulk. They grow up too fast, bro. Shady Traveler, that will transform when it's night into the Stalking Predator. We have a lot of those. Tireless Howler, we have some of those as well. 4 generic, 1 green for a human werewolf. Dire Strain Brawler, now it's just a werewolf. Bird, we have a lot of those. Bird Admirer. It transforms into Bird Wing Shredder. It has reach, that's very useful. Oh, Puppet Stitcher. It's the first. Oh, that's a mythical rare. Let's go. 2 generic, 1 blue human wizard mythic rare. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay. It can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more creature tokens, you may transform Puppet Stitcher. So it's about tokens, okay? Puppet Factory. Oh! A rare mythical artifact. If it's night, it already goes transformed, or no? No, you need the upkeep to transform it. You need that ability, I believe. Creature tokens you control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may transform Puppet Factory. It may have been a mistake to give them minds of their own. Right? Right? Then we have a shiny Voldaren Stinger. It's 1 red Vampire Warrior. We have one of those. Voldaren Stinger has first strike as long as it's attacking. And you can pay 2 generic and 1 red, and Voldaren Stinger gets +2, not Stinker, Stinger gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. A duel to first blood means something very different when a vampire is involved. Alright. Oh wait, the mythical rare goes to the mound of the mythical rares. And lastly but not least, on this pack we have Spellbook. It costs 0. It's an artifact. You have no maximum hand size. Okay. Everything the wise woman learned, she wrote in a book. And when the pages were black with ink, she took white ink and began again. Karn, silver golem. Okay. You have no maximum hand size. That's useful. That's surely useful. Let's go for the next pack. Innistrad Midnight Hunt, as you know it. Let's see what we will get here. Oh, Shady Werewolf. Where are you going? Where are you going, mate? Primal Adversary. That's a good card. I don't know what it does, but that's a very good card. We got a forest. Love those forests. Otherworldly Gaze. You pay 1 blue for an instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest back on the top of your library, in any order. And then you can pay 1 generic and 1 blue to cast it from the graveyard. Jack-o'-lantern. We have some of those as well. 1 generic artifact. Pay 1 and tap it. Sacrifice Jack-o'-lantern. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Draw a card. Pay 1. Exile Jack-o'-lantern from your graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color. By the end of the festival, it was the only thing still grinding. Because everybody was dead. Or they killed things that grind. I don't know. Evolving Wilds. Sacrifice Evolving Wilds, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Stanzia blazes with new heat. Nephalia's tides are chaotic, and everywhere this unnatural frost. The land is sending a warning. Cathilda, Dawnheart Prime. Yeah, it's changing. Things were changing back then. Eccentric Farmer, we have 1 of those. 2 generic, 1 green for a human peasant. When Eccentric Farmer enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Careful now, don't want to get the seed stuck to your fielders like last time. Oh, and I thought we could transform it, but no. We have those as well. Grizzly Ghoul. That's 2 generic, 1 black and 1 green for a zombie bear. Trample. Grizzly Ghoul enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. The hunters spent the evening celebrating their kill, and the rest of the night running from it. Damn! Rite of Oblivion. 1 white and 1 black sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a non-land permanent. Exile target non-land permanent, and then you can pay 2 generic, 1 white and 1 black to cast this from your graveyard. Revenge is a circle without end. That's true. Chaplain of Alms. 1 generic for human cleric. First strike with ward and disturb. You can invoke it for that price from the graveyard into a chapel Childgeist. It protects the old and the chapel. Flame Channeler. 1 generic and 1 red for a human wizard. When a spell you control deals damage, transform Flame Channeler. At the edge of night, on the cusp of winter, the allure of fire grows even stronger. That's because it's Sedge season, mutable fire, it's almost winter. Embodiment of Flame, Elemental Wizard. Whenever a spell you control deals damage, put a flame counter on Embodiment of Flame. Pay 1. Remove a flame counter from Embodiment of Flame. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Never again will she fear the dusk. Nice. There is no reason to fear the dusk. We have a rare one. Brutal Cathar. A 2 generic, 1 white, human soldier werewolf. When this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into brutal Cathar, exile target creature an opponent controls until the creature leaves the battlefield. I thought Cathars haunted werewolves. Why is a werewolf? Whoa, it transforms into a red one. Moonrage Brute. First strike. Ward. Pay 3 life. Nightbound. So you can protect it for spells if you pay 3 life. Whoa, I like that. Another rare one. Let's go. Catilda Dawnheart Prime. Oh, she was speaking how the nature was changing. 1 green, 1 white for a human werlock. Protection from werewolves. No way. Because the Cathars, no, the Dawnhearts, they are connected to the heart. The dawn, the rise of the heart. It's all green, you see, it's all green. So, on the heart chakra, because the heart chakra balances every other chakra. We have 7 main chakras, and the heart chakra is the 4th one, sitting in a position of balance. So there is no werewolves that can, there is no lower desires that can transform you into a werewolf. Because you are balanced sitting in your heart. Human creatures you control have tap it. Add 1 mana of any of these creatures' colors. Oh, you can pay 4 generic, 1 grass, and 1 white to tap it. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. The angels may have abandoned us, but Green Danu, green, okay, it's the green heart, has not, okay? So the angels abandoned. Why? And then, lastly but not least, a shiny Might of the Old Ways. 1 generic and 1 green for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. Coven. Then, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, draw a card. Brimming with power from their disrupted ritual, the Dawnheart witches lashed out at the werewolves intruders. The old way, God way, spirit way. Werewolves has no chance. You stopping my rituals and spells for your low fucking desires? You must be out of your mind. I like that one. Wait, didn't we have... another rare. I was sure of it. You must be out of your mind, sister. Yeah, I'm realizing that in Innistrad, MidNight Hunt is more like an introduction, showing you what type of creatures there is in Innistrad. And then Crismon Vow is more entering to the goals of them, what they want to do, what are their intentions, okay? Here is like unbalance is happening. We have werewolves, we have vampires, we have stitchers, we have zombies. It's a chaotic but entertaining world because it's always changing, you know? It's full of life and death, birth and death, rituals and technology, but that it's more primitive, it's more spiritual technology. It's that Geist wave, you know? They use electricity in a very direct way. So it's not primitive in a bad sense, it's just simpler. So it depends on its use as well, but it's also dealing with that spark. We see some red cards, the voltaic something that we got on the Crismon Vow. That's the Geist wave, and that's what they use here. You see that electricity, that's not under so great control. That's more like inspiration. It's not a controlled circuit, you know. And then we have the Storm Chaser Drake, because people in Innistrad use storm power to do their things, especially the scientists, you know. So it's a more primitive, but also more spiritual plane, as I'm noticing here. Alright, let's start the new pack. Oh, we have that one. That one is called Flash Taker. Yeah, some humans go crazy as well, living around those lower desires. Beautiful island. Mounted Dread Knight, we have one of those. For generic, 1 red for a Vampire Knight. Trample. Mounted Dread Knight enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn. Markov vampires cultivate an image of such decadent elegance that it can be easy to forget that they can field a deadly fighting force. Now, there we go again. Vampires pretending they civilized, pretending they elegant. You lost, you drink blood, stop that shit. Vampire Interlooper, 1 generic. I also began to notice that the packs have themes to it, right? This one is full of vampires. 1 generic, 1 black Vampire Scout with flying, it cannot block. It's a scout. The Voldaren have begun demanding blood offerings from the villagers in their territory. Their agents arrive from the sky to collect the ceremonial bowls in eerie silence. So we have Markov vampires, we have Voldaren, we have another ones. So there is some vampire factions. Those are elegant, those are more like direct, give us offerings, peasants. Bat Whisperer, 3 generic, 1 black vampire. When Bat Whisperer enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. My little winged friends, tell me which of these tongues float are worth tasting for myself. Alright, it's a 4/2, it's good. Arrogant Outlaw, a 2 generic, 1 black vampire noble. When Arrogant Outlaw enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. The debased remnants of the Falkenthwa bloodline prowl that passes near their ruined castles. So the Falkenthwa bloodline does not exist anymore. Alright, that's interesting. Neonate's Rush. So she was transformed early or recently, and she can control her rush. 2 generic, 1 red instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a vampire. Neonate's Rush deals 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage to its controller. Draw a card. We spend our entire existence pursuing the joy of our first night's feast. Indeed, the first high. You can't get to the first high was the first high. Then it's second, third, then it gets even lower. You can't get that first high again. You need to detach from it for some time. Ghoulish Procession. 1 generic, 1 black enchantment. Whenever 1 or more non-token creature dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. This ability triggers only 1 each turn. It was a family reunion to die for. Nice joke, almost made me laugh. Morbid Opportunist. 2 generic and 1 black for a human rogue. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only one each turn. Once, I mean. On Innistrad, 1 person's windfall usually starts with another person lying face down in the mud. Because it might be a vampire, it might be a zombie, it might be a werewolf about to transform. Mystic Skull, we have 1 of those. 2 generic for an artifact. Pay 1, tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 5, tap it, transform Mystic Skull. It waited on the barn wall for decades, forgotten, looking for the perfect opportunity. And then, Mystic Monstrosity lends you control, tap it, and 1 mana of any color. Under the light of an unnatural moon, it walked out on legs of straw with joints of hinge ripped from the barn doors. Got possessed. Then we have a really cool art. Candlegrove Witch. 1 generic and 1 white for a human warlock. Coven. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, Candlegrove Witch gains flying until the end of the turn. Levitate, levitate. Oh, Angel Fire Ignition. I've seen this card on online, Magic Arena. I don't use Magic Arena online a lot, but I see people play there, so I can learn as well. So that's a rare sorcery, one generic, one red, one white. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains vigilance, trample, lifelink, indestructible, and has haste until end of the turn. Damn! Flashback, so you can call it from the graveyard. My angel is the flint, and I am her steel. Alright? And then we have Diregraph Rebirth. 3 generic, 1 black, 1 green sorcery. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you can flashback it. Alright. I'm enjoying a lot of cool cards, a lot of cards that we already have seen, some new cards, and I'm now constructing a better picture around the Innistrad world. That's why I keep buying the Midnight Hunt Innistrad, not Innistrad, right? Because it allows me to get a better vision about the whole world in itself. Okay, we have a passage to the sea, but something is happening on that horizon. Deserted beach. We have a beautiful mountain. We have Crossroads Candle Guide, 4 generic for a Scarecrow artifact. Creature though, when Crossroad Candle Guide enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Pay 2, add 1 mana of any color. Do the Candle Guide's heads turn to follow you as you pass, or it's merely a trick of the flickering light? No. They're aware of you. Devious Cover Up, already have those ones. 2 generic and 2 blue, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it to the owner's graveyard. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. Widow Weber's new Scarecrow seemed to attract more crows than it's scared of, because it was his husband. Geist Wave, that was the electricity that I was talking about. You see, using those things. 1 generic and 1 blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you control that permanent, draw a card. Necro Alchemists gain popular support during the travails, when Geist-fueled weapons help defend towns against mad cultists and Eldrazi's monstrosities. Oh, that's true, because I remember one Eldrazi, 3 big Eldrazi's were in Innistrad. You know, the last time we were there. I just learned that recently. Shipwreck Sifters. 1 generic and 1 blue for a creature spirit. When Shipwreck Sifters enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you discard a spirit card or a card with disturb, put a +1/+1 counter on Shipwreck Sifters. A loyal crew sticks together even after death. Odric's Outrider. 3 generic and 1 white for a human knight. Whenever Odric's Outrider or another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Terms like Safe Route and Cleared District are a source of dark humor to the Cathars who patrol the ruins of Thraben. Okay, they are filled with zombies, right? Damn. Flash Taker, we have that art. It's a 1 white, 1 black human assassin. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life and scry 1. Pay 1, sacrifice another creature. Flash Taker gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. A soulless husk of endless hunger. Yeah, because higher spirits, if they live too much around lower spirits and they are not strong enough to uphold themselves, if they don't have a higher vision of their own, to believe in and to have faith in. They can follow, low, and then it's even weirder. It's like, it's more natural to see a werewolf or a vampire, to drink some blood, to kill somebody, but when a human does that, and he has a plan to it, he has a personality to it, it's weirder, it's cringe, because it's not supposed to happen. That's a followed spirit. When it dies, it will be back right back to a bug. Then Harvest Side Infiltrator, I have one of those in my deck. 2 generic, 1 red with trample, day bound. If it is not day or night, it becomes day as this card gets in. He was one masked stranger among many. Blending in was a child's play. Yeah, because that festival was a trap. That festival was a trap. Because when I bought my pre-release deck, my pre-release bundle from the Innistrad, there was like a pamphlet, right, that was saying we are bringing this old tradition back of the Harvest Side, which is a festival to celebrate the harvest. And they said, never walk alone, walk 2 together. And I saw that as a trap, so the werewolves can transform 2 at the same time, or the vampires can eat faster, right? But I think the Harvest Side Infiltration is more about werewolves than vampires. Because vampires, they don't go do some shit, or if they do, it's in the dark, nobody knows, it's in silence. The werewolves, they want to provoke some scene chaos. The vampires, they try to hide it with elegance, with bloodline, with status, in the dark, in their own castles. They all low. Harvest Side Assailant. Trample, when Tovular's howl sounded from the woods, it was answered from the heart of the festival. So Tovular planned that. Tovular planned the infiltration. Fangblade Brigand. That card is really good actually. 3 generic and 1 red for a human werewolf. Fangblade Brigand gets +1/+0 and it gains first strike until the end of the turn. Daybound, it becomes day as you can see it. As long as the sun is up, you'll only lose your purse. And then Fangblade Eviscerator. Fangblade, you can pay 1 generic and 1 red. Fangblade Eviscerator gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until the end of the turn. You can pay 4 generic and 1 red. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until the end of the turn. Whoa, that's a beautiful one. Dawnheart Mentor. 2 generic, 1 green, human warlock. When Dawnheart Mentor enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Coven. Pay 5 generic and 1 green. Target creature you control gets +3/+3 and gains trample until the end of the turn. Activate only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. That one goes for the art scale. Oh, I've seen that card had a lot of play. That's a rare one. Reckless Stormseeker. 2 generic, 1 red human werewolf. What? At the beginning of combat, on your turn, target creatures you control gets +1/+0 and gain haste until the end of the turn. How is a werewolf flying? Storm Charged Slasher. Oh, because they are a Storm Seeker, so they can charge their things. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains trample and haste until the end of the turn. That's powerful. Oh, another rare one. I don't have that one. Siphon Inside. One blue and 1 black for an instant. Look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down and put the other on the bottom of that library. You may look at and play the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast a spell, and you can flashback. So she's like an infiltrator. She's in the ship with the man and the woman, and she's like yellow. His reptile. Is he a vampire? I don't know. But it's our rare ones. Alright. And it is everything for today, guys. We got a mythical rare Puppet Stitcher, about creating a lot of tokens. We got a rare one, Brutal Cathar, that transforms into Moonrage Brute. Then we got Angel Fire Ignition. Then we have Catilda Dawnheart Prime, really cool. We have Reckless Stormseeker, and we have Siphon Insight. Those are our mythical rares and rares. And then for art style or text that I really enjoy, we have Might of the Old Ways, brimming with power from their disrupted ritual, the Dawnheart witches lashed out at the werewolf intruders. That's some powerful feelings. You went lowering my spirit, bitch! And then we have Dawnheart Mentor. The art is beautiful. I love that heart. Dawnheart Mentor. She's teaching, right? So, thank you very much, guys, once again for watching. It's a pleasure to do these videos for you. And till the next time, Esoteric Cloud Surfer, surfing out. Bye!